I am not picking on this guy. I got a ton of comments saying that on my video about separating grounds and neutrals in a sub panel. Yeah, it's just not that simple in a house. An apprentice, a helper, can learn that rule that simply, but an electrician needs to know that's not the rule. The rule is not that simple, and I think most electricians would. But for those who don't, let's get into it. If you are an electrician dealing with existing homes, you have to be aware on multiple levels the code changes every 3 years. And homes built prior to about 1993, don't quote me exactly, but homes built prior to 1993, we didn't separate grounds and neutrals. Okay, they were combined. So you could be in an existing home and see them bonded and not separated. And you, by separating them and unbonding that panel, you could create a hazard. The next thing to consider is this rule that was added in the 2020 code. Homes require exterior emergency disconnects now. Okay, there's a provision of that rule that says the emergency disconnect does not have to count as your service disconnect. So you're allowed to bring 3 wire from the emergency disconnect to the next breaker. And then the next breaker is where you bond it. I don't have a plan on using that rule, but I have to be aware that it exists. So if I walk into an existing home and see what looks like the second disconnect still having bonding means. So right away, I already gave you a ton of examples when you could be in a home that it's not as simple as after the first disconnect, you don't bond. But that only counts code compliant installs. Never mind if it's done half right. If it's done half right, it's a whole new can of worms. This is why a professional decides if your panel should be bonded or not just one sentence of a rule.